Fire, smoke, and rubble. Stunning images caused by a huge explosion 10 years ago tonight on the south side of Indianapolis. That huge blast killed 2 people and leveled dozens of homes in the Richmond Hill subdivision. Now I want to go ahead and show you what that neighborhood looks like 1 decade after the explosion. And drone cam 13 shows something else. 2 empty lots. The house that blew up and the house where 2 people died have never been rebuilt. Constant reminders of a horrible night that claimed 2 lives and changed others forever. Lighted candles pierce the darkness on this November night.
It's amazing how quickly time has passed.
The Richmond Hill neighborhood falls quiet as people here remember the tragedy that took place 10 years ago.
I think it's just important to remember and reflect back on, that there was a deep trauma in this neighborhood.
1 decade ago, there was chaos following a house explosion intentionally set in a plot to collect insurance money. 2 innocent people died on November 10th, 2012.
I just want to honor Jennifer and Dion. I think we should always remember that they were part of our family as well.
Now the community comes together 1 decade later.
For me, it seems like it was 100 years ago, but yet it seems like it was still yesterday.
Richmond Hill neighbors remembering the horror from that night.
Those that were closest to the explosion, those that, their houses literally were torn down. I mean, that's something that I don't know that you ever completely heal from that.
For the most part, we were strangers before the explosion, and then we all became a family. And nobody knows what we went through except for those of us that went through it. You can never describe what you went through. So the fact that we remember this 10 years later, and we can still reminisce, and we can still share that pain, it changed our lives forever.
The people in this Southside Indianapolis neighborhood still honoring, still remembering 10 years later. Now imagine how scary it must have been for all those people on that street to hear and feel the blast 10 years ago tonight. Michelle Waddy was on the edge of her bed that evening when the explosion happened just a few houses away.
The biggest noise that I have ever heard literally shook the house. It shook me. I walked down the stairs to kind of see what was going on, and I heard the people yelling, "Get out of your house, get out of your house."
Michelle's family was forced out of their home for 6 months, but she was determined to return to Richmond Hill.
This is my home, and I didn't want it to be, I felt like if I left that it would have won. It took me years to get to where I felt safe in my home again, and that kind of stinks when your home's not your safe place.
Michelle still lives in Richmond Hill. Others moved away, not wanting to live in that neighborhood anymore.
Let's look now at the people who planned and carried out the explosion. We'll start with the ringleader, Mark Leonard. Police say it was his idea to collect a $300,000 insurance payout. He was sentenced to life in prison. He died in 2018. Then there was Mark's half-brother, Bob Leonard. Police say he carried out Mark's plan. Bob filled the home with natural gas and rigged a microwave oven to set it off. He was also sentenced to life in prison. And then there was Monserrate Shirley, who lived in the home that blew up. Prosecutors dropped all but 2 charges against her in exchange for her testimony. She was convicted and sentenced to 50 years in prison.
We've got comprehensive coverage of the Richmond Hill blast on WTHR.com and on our WTHR app. There you can see a full timeline of all the events that have unfolded over the last decade. You can also hear more from the neighbors in Richmond Hill who will never forget that November night back in 2012. That's all posted right now on WTHR.com.